a lot of poise. I don't have that much poise. Good on you, Will. And thanks, Nick, also. I mean, you kind of outshined you a little bit. But I forgot to mention that Nick was also, about 8 years ago, we kind of changed the format of the journal. We started doing a featured section, which is several of the poets here we kind of put together as kind of a conglomerate for the featured section. But Nick was our first featured poet, and kind of helped kind of get that going as I was kind of starting getting my feet under myself as an editor of the journal. So I appreciate that as well. So I was looking back, it's like, wow, it's been 8 issues or so 4 years ago or something like that. So that was kind of made me feel old a little bit. And also Jonathan Moody, our next reader, has also been a featured poet in Borderlands as well. I can't remember how many issues ago that was, but that also was maybe about a year or two ago. So Jonathan Moody received his MFA from the University of Pittsburgh, is a Cave Canem graduate fellow whose poetry has appeared in the African American Review, Beloit Poetry Journal, Borderlands, Boston Review, The Common, Harvard Review Online, and other publications. He's the author of the Doomy Poems. I love the Doomy Poems, it's really good. Six Gallery, which is from Six Gallery Press. His second collection, Olympic Butter Gold, won the 2014 Cave Canem Northwestern University Press Poetry Prize. In the summer of 2017, he performed his work on the international stage and was featured poet at the Culture Rapide, how do you say it? Rapide in Paris, France, and at the Art Bar Poetry Series in Toronto, Canada. Moody lives in Fresno, Texas with his wife and son. So please welcome Mr. Jonathan Moody.
This first poem I'll read is actually set in Paris, and I had the chance to spend a little time there this summer. And it was like right before Bastille Day, and Trump was coming, and there was like hundreds of thousands of Parisians already organized to protest. So that says a lot about what the rest of the world thinks about the guy who's currently in the office. This first poem is about a mural that's popular in Paris. It's entitled Shoot, and it's actually a portrait of the artist, and he's holding his finger over his mouth. And the inspiration behind that is he wants, when people come to visit Paris, he wants people to kind of like drown out the noise and listen and see what the city is telling them. And so I did that. Like I actually stood in front of this mural, and I closed my eyes and drowned out all the sound, and like the sound that I heard was gentrification. So 3 days and 200 spray paint cans later, your self-portrait appears on a jagged canvas. It's a missing puzzle piece, too large to fill in the center gap, the labor-raised commercialism. Your index finger over your lips is a gesture for me to stop complaining about the heat and listen to pigeons coo at the popsicle stick hipsters who have invaded their turf. To the demolition dervish of the Pompidou Center and Picasso Museum exploding the likelihood of reasonable rent. I hear Paris's oldest bells ring from St. Marie Church, and they sound like the moans of a street musician pawning his only pair of shoes for steak frites and a bus pass. It's great Stravinsky didn't compose a classical number entitled Urban Renewal. The music would be so powerful that the only humans who'd evolve would be those who shed tears the size of treble clefs. And this is actually from the Borderlands issue. The next poem I'll read is also published in Borderlands. I want to give a shout out to Ryan for publishing this poem. A year ago, my wife and I, we had already purchased our ticket to go to Madrid because that's where I wanted to go. Because my favorite director, Pedro Almodovar, is from Spain. And right after we bought our tickets, we were looking at, like what people were saying about Spain. And there was one comment in the comment section, like, why is the KKK in Spain? I thought somebody was just trying to be a troll. I'm like, wait, what? So I looked it up and did some research. And I typed in that phrase, and what came up was the image of men in white hoods. But they were Catholic priests. So it's stunning. So like, if I had ended up in Spain in March and seeing all these men walking around the streets, like I wouldn't have known what was going on. But it's during, like right before Easter, so that they wear the hoods as like a form of suffering, right? To make themselves humble, right? And the hood is called Capri. The KKK cannot be in Spain, I tell myself, as I see Hispanics decked out in conical hoods Pointed at such heights, I wouldn't be surprised if the peaks grazed the feet of Senegalese suspended from olive trees. I parlay my imagination the images of burning black churches and crosses in hopes of winning a larger perspective that towers over the spiky hoods. One that will allow me to see the people wearing the hats not as supremacists, but as priests paying penance for their sins during Holy Week. To my family, traveling to Madrid is a huge gamble with no reward. To my wife, it's the safest bet I've made since persuading her into believing that reverse swastikas have been found etched into Lavabella's, Ethiopia's rock-cut churches that predate Hitler's rise. Power. So that swastika, if you flip it, it's an African symbol, meaning like, it's a symbol of hope and light. So it's crazy like how a man can take that symbol and make it so evil to the point where people don't realize what like the true origins are. I also had the opportunity to travel in Toronto. And Canada is I liked it, but it's you get a weird vibe. Like, they're humble, but you get the sense that there's some kind of arrogance there. So I walked into this shop, and so it's a place called Hip Hop Prince. And I saw the shirt, I just got really pissed off. I'll read this, one of the epigraphs. The poem is called Paradise Lost. I'll just read a few from this series. The American dream is a Canadian reality. From a t-shirt slogan by Andre Alexander. Here's the next epigraph. What a tetchy neighbor Americans have in Canadians. When they ignore us, we mope. And when they notice us, they had better get everything right. We do not suffer errors gladly. Chris Selly, of the National Post. One thing about specifically Toronto is, to me, it's a lot like Arizona, with the exception that it's not just brown men who get carded by the police, it's also black men, because there's a strong African population there. There was a really foul incident that happened. A lot of people were protesting, and I wanted to write about this gentleman because he deserves to be more widely known. My skewed perspective of Canada as a haven for black people is upside down, like the graffiti on Cameron Street that reads, "This is paradise." Andrew Loku, I say your name because there's a willful blindness in Toronto, enabling the cop who shot you to sleep among the fruit flies, while the metallic tears of your children reflect a caravan of justice that seems closer than it appears. The officer who admitted to having few interactions with black men equated your Sudanese frame with the hammer you wielded out of anger from all the loud music the upstairs tenants blasted for months. Andrew, you weren't a hammer. You were the nail trying to hold down a good night's sleep and a future in construction. Paradise Lost, take one. Even Rolling Stone is guilty of drinking the Kool-Aid spiked with maple syrup. On the cover, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau appears with rolled up sleeves and a blue tie that's looser than Canada's regulations on pot dispensaries. My beef is not with Trudeau, it belongs to the writer aligning him with the North Star. I understand the attraction, an empathetic man allowing immigrants into his country. But comparing the departure of Syrian refugees to the exodus of runaway slaves escaping bloodhound law is extra, like Trump's tangerine tan line and itchy Twitter fingers. Tonight, while strolling through the fashion district, I stare at the stars and wonder what it'd be like for gravity to hold us together instead of holding us down. Will we shine brighter than Polaris, or would our lighting be dimmer than a trendy restaurant serving dishes named after self-involved celebrities? This will be the last poem I'll read. My son, he's 4 now. He's like Prince's biggest fan. I've been playing him Prince since he was 1. And he's like so gifted where if I play him a song that doesn't have a drum beat to it, he'll layer drums on top of it and be totally in sync with the melody. It's crazy. Paradise Lost, take 2. If my 3-year-old son knew that Prince owned a mansion in Toronto that had his love symbol etched onto the frosted glass of dining room doors, Avery Langston would have begged me to come with me, rather than beg me not to leave Texas. I wish Avery were here in Kensington Market so we could practice his C major scale on the public piano that sticks out like the market's garden card, that has grass for an engine block and a shrub for a roof. Its symbolism expressing hope that my son's generation will turn Grim Reaper carbon monoxide rides into incubators for oxygen. I don't know what Prince said during his last breath, but it's believed his last words to his fans were, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." And I recall the last words I spoke to Avery before my trip. "Take care of mommy. You're the man of the house." Thank you.